Welcome back to the Authentic Human Podcast. I'm Michelle Vickers. Today is part 57 of the story of creation. If you haven't been following along, I am working with the creator and the universal beings that created this universe, that created humanity and created existence itself and evolution. And my goal is to document the history of human existence and our origins that we now know have been not only hidden, strategically hidden from us, they have been manipulated, right? And this is why humans are in such a state of trauma and suffering across the whole planet. And so the goal with the story of creation is to ensure that we know who we are again, bring that awareness back to humanity so that we can rise and we can restore this world to the experience that it was always meant to be for human existence, right? Because we weren't supposed to suffer. We're here to explore our potential. And challenges are one thing, but suffering caused by others is very much, it's not a part of the original intention of this experience. And so the story of creation is documenting how that came to pass, but also, more importantly than anything, it's documenting the truth of existence itself, how humans were created, talking all the way into the finite aspects of cellular structure within human beings, but also within the universe and in different aspects of the universe and how we intercommunicate. Okay, so let's see what they're going to share for part 57. Okay, so we've got, there's a lot of different beings here today, which is great. We've got the creator. Who else? Yeah. So if you see my eyes and they sort of look like they're going off, it's exactly what I do. I've done this since I was a little girl. When information is coming in, my eyes sort of unfocus and they just kind of wander wherever they want to wander. So yeah, I apologize if it looks kind of funny, but it's just how it works. And so ultimately, who's going to speak today are angelics again. So it's important to understand that the angelics are such an integral part of human existence, but physical existence. And this is why they continue to show up over and over and over again, because they are such an important part of helping us understand really and remember, right? Because as a soul, you know all of this information. And that is why I continue to encourage you to feel the energy of what I'm saying as it's being said, because this knowing is already innately within you. And so when you hear truth at this level, right, it's at the universal level. So it's not filtered through any human's perspective. It's just simply truth. And when you hear it at this level, it ignites you. It's your remembering. It ignites all of that wisdom inside of you. And so sometimes, you may not have that instant awareness, and sometimes you do, right? Like I get emails and messages from people all the time and comments that are saying, oh my gosh, it changed everything because now I remember all of this part of it myself, or I remember this dynamic in me. And so that's how this works, right? Because energy speaks to the energy inside of you. That's what I'm doing, right? I'm igniting your soul so that you can have a more tangible relationship with your soul, a more physical relationship with your soul, because that's what's happened, right? We've come to this place where we've disassociated with energy. And we forget that you are 100% energy first. And so if you disassociate with that aspect of you, you can never fully cut that connection off. It's impossible. But you can dim it to the point where you are consistently suffering. You are consistently feeling a disconnection from the world, from other people, you feel like you can't find deep connections in your relationships, you feel like you can't find fulfillment, it's really simple. It's because your connection with who you are has been, you know, dampened, right? It's been affected and impacted so that you second guess yourself. Now, I mean, obviously, after the first 56 episodes, we understand there was a lot of control and manipulation that occurred to cause that situation. But the really cool thing about all of this is it can be reignited in just a moment, in just 1 second. And that's what this spiritual awakening is that so many people keep talking about, right? Is those moments where you see truth like you've never seen it before and it changes who you be, right? Some people have near death experiences. Some people have, you know, they have dreams. They have, God will speak to them, right? In different experiences. These happen all the time. And 90% of the time when they happen, people think, oh, that was just, wow, my brain went into a crazy place there for a minute. And I was, they don't give that the value it deserves. Because I guarantee you, every human on this planet has had connections with their soul multiple times throughout your life. Everyone has. It's impossible not to. And we're now at a place where we need to start recognizing those moments as truth. Okay. And not truth as in some big dramatic situation and ordeal. No, it's just simple. It's you are a soul first. You're 100% energy. That is your foundation. And it's time for you to remember. So let's go. So the angelics today want to really clarify the dynamic between the two different worlds that we're living in. So we're going to be building on what we talked about in part 56. And it's understanding that these two worlds, right? So we've got the mental world and we've got the energy world. And they're very at odds with each other is how they're showing me. And it's really important to understand which side of existence you're on in any given moment. And this is really what it's coming down to, right? Most people don't even understand that there's a choice to make. And there's a lot of spiritual people who believe that they're awakened and they're still using the mental aspect rather than the energy to move forward. And this is what needs to shift and what needs to change. And that's what they're going to do. They want to clear this up today. Okay. So if there is any anger or judgment, resentment, frustration in you, you are still on the mental side. Okay. Anger, judgment, frustration, resentment, all of these energies are designed to ensure you stay exactly where you are. Zero change, zero improvement, right? You know that. I mean, think about the last time something happened in your life and you got really frustrated and annoyed. Okay, you had an experience. It was a really not good experience. And it could have been just a conversation with a neighbor. It doesn't have to be something big and dramatic. But here's the thing. How long did you think about that situation after it happened? How many people did you talk to about that situation after it happened? That's you holding that energy. That's you saying to the universe, I'm going to stay in this energy so that I can't change. I don't want it to change. I want to focus entirely on what they did to me. And here's the other one. The other one they're showing me is, when we want to prove our point, right? We want to prove that somebody else is wrong. Listen, There's a lot of stuff going on in this world right now. And I can tell you, from the universal perspective, most of it is wrong. It doesn't matter which side you're on. There's no such thing as picking a side that is right. It's strategically designed that way, right? It's been, I mean, the entire political system, okay, has been designed so there is no such thing as a right side, a side that is in alignment with creation itself. There's not one side. And yet, your demanded isn't quite the right word, but ultimately, those are the only choices you're given. You're not given an opportunity to choose truth. You're not given an opportunity to choose a side that feeds truth. You are given opportunities, an abundance of opportunities to choose people who continue to berate, judge, ridicule, throw resentment and frustration around like it is a valuable currency. The challenge is you're getting caught in that storm. You may not participate in the government system at all. You may not vote. You may not even listen to what's going on in the political world. That's fine. But you're still impacted by it. Because when your neighbor does something you don't like, if you start judging and ridiculing, it's a result of your level of participation in whatever dynamic is there. I know that this may stretch a lot of minds, because here's the reality, okay? All of these rules and regulations and laws that we have, right? They've been created strategically by humans to control the situation. And yet we live in a world, in a universe that every single human, and I'm using this very specifically, every human soul in existence is self-governing. And so if you're self-governing, okay, you instinctively know right from wrong. That's the basics of that, right? That's what self-governance is. It's understanding at the highest level, okay? And when I say highest level, it's an awareness of, you know, every single thing that you do, you know how it's going to impact every human in your space. That's the level of integrity that we're talking about, right? When we get to full consciousness, right? How we originally experienced life here, but also, you know, how we experienced life for millions and billions of years as humans. It's only in the last, right, 50,000 years that we haven't. And it's really fascinating because, you know, they're saying 40,000 years ago, humans were Neanderthals. So, you know, it's fascinating that the dichotomy and the the lies that we're being told about human existence. And so what they want to help you understand, okay, is that if you have any anger, doesn't matter whether it's directed at you, whether it's directed at another human, whether it's directed at the universe itself, whether it's directed at governments, you're holding this system that we have been trained to live in and that has been used to control us. You're using that system to try and gain traction to move in the direction you want. This is going to be a bit of a bigger concept today, and so just bear with me. If you know you don't get it entirely today, that's okay. No big deal. But the awarenesses are coming. Okay, so here's the thing. Yes, we still live in this physical world, but the only rules that apply to you are those of universal existence. Okay. Yes, there's still laws. And, you know, right, here's the thing. It's not about, if you're angry, you're going to work against those laws. Okay. But if you're working with the universe right now, it's this understanding of aware and this level of awareness that they're going to give you insight. They're going to give you wisdom. They're going to give you information that will help you move in exactly the right direction for you, for yourself, free of any anger or resentment towards anyone else, no matter how poor their behavior. Because here's the thing, the people who have poor behavior, who are so angry, they're not worth your time and energy. And this is what it comes down to, okay? If you keep giving your energy to them, right? If you're working against a system, right? I mean, cancer is probably one of the biggest ones that is a great example. If you're working to fight cancer, you're working on continuing to give cancer a voice. That's just what it is. It's not about fighting cancer. It's about understanding and recognizing that the human body is self-healing. Your job is to focus on discovering what it is that your body needs in order to restore itself. It's that simple. You're not working against something because you're angry. You're working for the truth. That's the whole point of existence. We're either going to get it or we're not. And there needs to be enough of us who can stay on the side of truth without anger for a long enough period of time for it to take hold. Because here's the thing. If you're angry for 5 minutes today, you've fed that universal energy. It's not universal, but you fed the universe. You fed it into the universe. Okay. That's the thing. So there's 9 fundamental energies in this universe, and then 1 extra that was created. If you want to know more about them, they are all documented and explained in Believe. But here's the thing. These 9 fundamental energies are the universal energies. They're the only ones that are self-sustained. So if you want to learn how to use them, because they're the foundation of human existence, but also the entire universe's existence. So every aspect of existence, whether it's from the angelics, whether it's from, the planets, the solar systems, the stars, all these universal beings, and then, beings that don't come from this universe, right? Like extraterrestrial beings. If they come here, they still have to follow the universal guidelines, right? And so, well, there's only one. It's free will. So they get to come and play here. Now, they can bring whatever the energies they want here. But if they use the 9 fundamentals, okay, then massive things happen. But they can bring these other energies, right? So that's how this all started. Is these lower vibration energies came in. And when I say lower vibration, what they need is your attention. Because if they don't have your attention, they will cease to exist. It's really, I'm finding it's so tricky when you're trying to put, this big, massive picture into the simplest terms, right? So bear with me when it sounds like I'm using certain words on both sides. It's because sometimes there's not enough words in the English language. But at the end of the day, okay, what we're learning about more than anything right now is to release our anger so we can experience freedom. And anger looks like anything from judgment to resentment to holding our pain and suffering, right? Because that dynamic is so much a part of who you were taught to be, but it is not instinctual for you. And it's why they put us in the education system, right? As humans, because within those first 10 years of life, okay, your mind is absorbing every every aspect of existence it possibly can. So what's happening is it's kind of like a sponge, but not really, because it's more active than a sponge. So energetically, okay, you're building the energetic force that is your physical self. Oh, this is cool. I've never seen this way. So everything that comes into your space is becoming a part of your energy. Okay. And the energy that you are going to approach your life with. So if there's anger, if there's resentment, if there's judgment, if there's jealousy, okay, this is where competitiveness comes from. This is where all of these dynamics that put you in a position of feeling less than come from. Because humans are innately, we're innately focused on our own best interests. Okay. Now, again, in this world, that would be, oh, you're so selfish. You're thinking only about yourself. Here's the thing. That's how humans were created. We weren't created to be selfish. We were created to come in and explore our potential. And we innately know and understand, right? We don't have any fear of being manipulated or taken advantage of or people using us, because that doesn't exist, right? It's because we have lost our connection that we can't be able to understand and recognize other people's intentions. So they use us. But that's on you. And if you continue to be angry that someone did something to you, that's you using those energies to continue that dynamic of control and manipulation in your life. That's the point they're trying to make today, okay? Is that your resentment, your anger, those burdens that you're carrying, that you've decided other people need to be held accountable for it. Other people need to see how much you're suffering. That's what you're working towards. That's the energy and the vision you're holding. And this is the split. You know, the universe is not going in that direction anymore. It's going in the direction of truth. And if you want to continue with the universe and move into a life that reflects your position in the universe, then you need to let that anger and resentment and fear go. And what I mean by position in the universe, you know, as souls, we have awareness of who we are. We have awareness of our innate capacity to participate in exactly what interests us. Because in doing so, we contribute to the universe as a whole. When you understand that, when you recognize your value as a human, right? The problem, okay, is that humans in this world have been taught that our value comes from how much money we make, how many degrees or certificates, certifications that we have on our wall, how many things we've proved to the world that we can do. And that's why we're struggling. Because for those who didn't have a whole bunch of those experiences, you're angry that the world can't see you for who you are. And for those who have all of those experiences, you're angry because you realize they don't matter and you're still not happy. It doesn't matter how hard you work or how much money you have, you're still not experiencing that joy. And that's the point, is because that system, that the way they're showing me, that system that they created, okay, to value humans, it's not working. It's broken. But that's because it never should have existed in the first place. because it's not based on truth. Your value isn't from what you do. Your value is who you are. Your value is your ability to find inspiration and follow it. Free of resistance from others. When was the last time you knew you wanted to do something and someone said, "Oh, I don't think that's a good idea"? But here's the other part. When was the last time someone you know wanted to do something and you said, "Wow, I don't think that's a good idea"? It works both ways. And if you want other people to see you for who you are, then number one, you have to start seeing yourself for who you are. You have to work in the energy side. This isn't woo-woo. We're way beyond the fact that this is woo-woo. This is just fact. Humans are energy first. Okay? That's how, then the whole illusion, this whole illusion in the world that we're living in, the one biggest lie is that humans are just physical. The moment you really understand that physical is just an expression, that world just starts to crumble. That's the one lie they need to keep more than anything, is that humans are physical, because you are not. Every experience you have is an exchange of energy, whether it's with a person, whether it's with the universe, the planet, the elements, animals, with yourself and with your cells in your own body. And I want you to start to notice, who are you at war with? Who are you at war with? Are you at war with your cells in your body? Are you angry at them for not doing what you want them to do? Because there's anger. Are you angry in your relationships? Are you angry with your work? Maybe you don't love it. Maybe you don't like the people you work with. Here's the thing. Wherever you're carrying anger, you're choosing this old world. Your job is to come back to center, to come back to balance, and to restore your focus on what matters. And the only thing right now that matters is you remembering the truth, that you're energy first and you exist at a level so finite in this universe that you are vital to existence itself. That's where you want to start. You want to come back to that place where you can remember where that feels like, where you can call to yourself and find courage and strength, compassion and love and respect, where you can find joy and purity. Because ultimately, that's on you. That is your mission in this life. And that's what's going to create an experience of fulfillment. But until you get to that place where you can extinguish anger, you're going to still struggle. You're going to struggle with who you are and what you're meant to be doing in the world. So your job is to literally extinguish anger from every area of your life. You got to see it first. But before that, even, you have to want to see it. And this is what we've been trained to do, to hide from it, to become defensive about it, and to make darn sure we don't see it even when it's staring us in the face, because we will justify why it's not really there, or why we need to be angry. So the next time you find yourself justifying just how angry you are, take a deep breath and remind yourself that anger is not worth it, because that means you're diluting your power. You're diluting your ability to see truth. It's time to come home. It's time to come home to you. That's it. It's so simple. It's a little bit dramatic in between, especially when we want to feed all that anger, right? Anger, judgment, just drama. It's time to let it go because it is not valuable to you or your life. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Michelle Vickers, and I will see you in part 58 of the story of creation soon. If you enjoyed what you learned here, please share. Let me know. Like the video. Share your comments on all the experiences you're having. And honestly, as you were going through this, if there's someone in your life that you think, wow, they could really benefit from this, share it with them. But tell them why you think they're so amazing, right? Don't send it to someone that you think, wow, they're so angry, they need to hear this. Because I'll tell you, that's not going to go well. It's not going to go well at all because nobody wants to be told how angry they are. But maybe send it to one of your best friends and say, I need some help because I want to see the anger in my life and I want to get out of it. Will you be my partner and, help me find all this anger that I got hiding? And maybe you can help each other. Because man, oh man, if you're going to be anger extinguishers, that's awesome. And we want to sit and we want to shift and we want to focus to the other side. Let's go find the truth because that's what you were created to do. And that's what you were created to exchange. I love you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this conversation and want to learn more, head on over to michellevickers.com. Join our mailing list to receive new episodes right to your inbox or apply to be a guest on the show. If this episode made you think of someone while you were listening, forward the link onto that person with a little note about why it made you think of them, because the greatest gift you can give another human is to see the beauty and purity of who they truly are. Until next time, stay curious.